Hello and a very warm welcome to Women's World, a program especially related to women, and I'm Dechen Om with the program. In this edition, we'll talk about the importance of breastfeeding babies and its practice in the country. Breastfeeding is the best way to provide newborns with the nutrients they need. A pediatrician at the National Referral Hospital in Thimphu, Dr. Kilisiring, explains the importance and advantages of breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding is very important because the first milk is called the colostrum. We say that if you breastfeed the baby, it is the first immunization that the baby gets. Breastfed baby is less likely to get illnesses such as pneumonia and diarrhea, which contributes to malnutrition. It also affects the brain growth because there is a substance called omega-3 fatty acids, which is important for the development of the brain. Therefore, breastfeeding not only protects the baby, but it also promotes brain growth, and a breastfed baby is more intelligent and emotionally bonded with the parents. In the long run, there are many studies which support that breastfed babies have less chances of getting diabetes, they have less chances of getting hypertension or increased blood pressure, and they have less chances of getting other cancer disorders also. In addition, studies have found that breastfed babies have less likelihood of getting asthma.
Dr. Kilisiring says it is important to exclusively breastfeed the baby for the first 6 months, followed by complementary food and continued breastfeeding till 2 years.
We should exclusively breastfeed up to 6 months, meaning that no other additional food, not even a drop of water till about 6 months, so only breast milk till 6 months. Thereafter, one should continue breastfeeding for up to 2 years or long, but from 6 months onwards, breast milk alone itself is not enough for the baby to grow optimally, and therefore we have to start complementary food. So therefore the message is exclusively breastfeeding till 6 months, giving nothing except breast milk, and thereafter continuing breast milk in addition to other locally available foods to up to 2 years and beyond.
I spoke to some of the women from different age groups on whether they practiced exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months or not. In the Bhutanese culture, mothers tend to feed water or butter to the baby during bath time, which Dr. Kilisiring says is not advisable at all.
There is a habit among us in our society to give those cereals like kapchi, some give butter, and then some put water when the baby is being bathed. And therefore, this does not fall under exclusive breastfeeding. Various studies in the world, even under the guidelines of WHO, that say that if you exclusively breastfeed your babies for 6 months, the chances of your baby dying will be less. And therefore, it is very, very important that the baby be breastfed within half an hour of life, and that the baby gets the colostrum, which is the anti-infective property, which is the first immunization that the baby will get.
50-year-old Ampema, a mother of 3, is one of those who fed her babies with various food and drink items besides breast milk.
After delivery, I used to give bath to my baby twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. During bath time, I used to give drops of water to the baby. Sometimes when there was fresh butter, I also gave a bit of butter to the baby. I did not lactate properly for the initial 3 days or so I fed my baby with some cow milk. After that, along with breast milk, I fed my baby with flour cooked in butter whenever she cried.
The Health Secretary, Dr. Ugendofu, says breastfeeding not only nurtures the baby but is also of advantage to the mother.
Now, a baby who is exclusively breastfed for 6 months, the future citizens of a country, health-wise, child will be healthy, and physically or mentally the child will develop very well, naturally. So you will have healthy citizens in the end. Then another is the child will not get diseases easily because breast milk has antibodies, all kinds of nutrition. So a child's immunity will be good, and then child has opportunity to grow normally. So another thing is, if you do exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months and continue breastfeeding for 2 years total, then the bond between mother and child will be very strong. Another is, if a mother breastfeeds her child, then the mother's, after delivery, her uterus, ovaries, all this will come back to normal position very fast. So giving very less discomfort to the mother, one. And in the long term, breastfed mothers, the chance of getting breast cancer is drastically low.
Meanwhile, our teacher Dechen Om, mother of 3, faced difficulty breastfeeding in the initial stage, yet practiced according to doctors.
Exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months did not happen with my first child because in those days it was just 3 months, and after 3 months you feed your child semi-solid or porridge. But with my second child, by then the 6-month breastfeeding policy was already initiated in Bhutan, so I followed it strictly.
Dr. Kilesring says it is better and easier to breastfeed the baby than feeding formula milk.
Breastfeeding is cheaper because it doesn't cost anything. It is more natural because it is what the baby needs. It is produced in the right amount at the right temperature, so someone doesn't need to boil it. As well as it is easily available so that the mother doesn't need to look around it at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock midnight to any other shop. And so it's beneficial for the economic terms as well as the time factor for the mother.
Breastfeeding is difficult, especially for first-time mothers. Therefore, Dr. Kile gives you some helpful information on proper breastfeeding.
There are basic attachment and positions which the mother needs to look at. 3 principles guiding this position is the baby's head and the body should be in straight line. The baby's back should well be supported, and the baby should be facing towards the mother's breast. If this position can be achieved, then this is a proper way. But mother can give it in a lying down position, and sometimes with the baby held up on top of the mother also, and sometimes she can feed it in a crisscross way. So there are many positions that the mother can make for the baby to easily breastfeed. Now let's talk about attachment. Positioning means the baby's position in relation to the mother's body. When we talk about attachment, most of the milk are stored in the areola, that is the dark area which underlies beneath the nipple. And this areola contains the milk tanks, small reservoirs or tanks which actually stores the milk. And therefore, for a baby to breastfeed properly, he has to latch on to the areola and not the nipple. Because if we are to get the milk, the baby has to suckle from the areola where the milk is stored. And nipple forms only a little part of what the baby is supposed to suck in. And so when we say that the baby is fully attached to the breast, means that the baby's mouth is wide open, the chin of the baby is touching the mother's breast, the black part of the breast, which is called areola, is fully inside the baby's mouth. And if the baby has a good attachment, the mother is less likely to develop sore nipple or breast abscess, mastitis. So if we can address to the positioning of the baby in relation to mother, if we can address to attachment of the baby in relation to the nipple or the areola, the woman is less likely to have breast complications.
Given the importance of exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months, after much deliberation, maternity leave for civil servants was increased from 3 to 6 months in March 2016. Earlier, with just 3 months of maternity leave, most working mothers were found to have fed supplementary food or formula milk.
Since I'm a working woman, it's really hard to adjust with my profession as I'm not able to give my child care. Since I have to be in the office all the time, I have to introduce supplementary food which is not advisable.
Meanwhile, the Labour and Employment Act 2007 permits 8 weeks maternity leave for women employees in private firms. However, in some cases, women are given just a month making it difficult to exclusively breastfeed for the first 6 months.
We get maternity leave only 2 months. In our company, we don't get feeding time. We don't get enough time to feed baby properly, so I give him none only formula milk. So they become sick very often.
Pediatrician Dr. Kilitsering gives some helpful tips, especially for working mothers who do not get 6 months maternity leave to practice exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months.
What they can do is, they can get up around 7 o'clock. By 7:30, they can express the milk. This expressed milk can be kept in a container under a cover. Okay, they should be kept in the coolest part of the room. And by 8:30, she goes to office. Before that, she feeds the baby. By around 10:30 to 11, there are some people in the house who's looking after the baby. You can tell them to feed the baby by cup or spoon, but not bottle feeding. We do not encourage bottle feeding because it causes a lot of problem. So by 10:30, 11, she feeds the baby, and then by 12:30, because she is feeding mother, I think the office, they'll let you go also. So by 12:31, she can come back and breastfeed the babies. Okay. Again, she expresses the milk, keeps in the cup, tightly covered, and this can be utilized at around 3:34, and by 5, the mother is back. So she can maintain exclusive breastfeeding like that for at least a 6 months period. But when you do with that, you have to feed by cup or spoon. And I would request all the working mothers, if they do not know how to feed by cup and spoon, they can always come to the health workers. They can always come to us here.
The National Nutrition Survey 2015 of the Health Ministry rated exclusive breastfeeding in Bhutan at 51.4%. To emphasize on the importance of breastfeeding, every first week of August is observed as the World Breastfeeding Week globally. That's all we have for you in this edition of Women's World. Join us every Wednesdays and Sundays at 4:20 p.m. for more women-related issues. Till then, it's me, Dechen Om, saying goodbye for now and see you next time.